him all. I gotta get him all in there.
Dance machine, Mike.
Dancing.
Wait, stop.
I did not interrupt.
Randy.
For years, Michael Jackson carefully maintained a calm, graceful, and polished public image. No matter how intense the media attention became, he almost always appeared composed, speaking softly and carrying himself with remarkable patience. But every so often, that carefully controlled exterior slipped just enough for the world to catch a glimpse of the emotions he had been keeping inside. Behind the famous smile was a man who had spent years facing relentless criticism, harsh judgment, ridicule, and constant public scrutiny. There were moments when Michael Jackson could no longer remain silent. Instead of responding with his usual restraint, he confronted the situation with unmistakable seriousness. His expression hardened, his eyes revealed genuine frustration, and his words carried a level of emotion that audiences rarely witnessed. These were the moments that reminded people there was a real person behind the global icon, someone who, despite extraordinary fame, could only endure so much before finally allowing the world to see the anger and pain he had tried for years to keep hidden.
I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And it's sad because, well, I think what Stevie Wonder said is true. And I just don't want to say too much more than that. But he should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that. You don't have to.
One of the clearest examples came in 2004 when Michael Jackson publicly criticized Eminem's music video for Just Lose It. The video included parodies referencing Michael's appearance, the 1984 Pepsi commercial burn accident, and the allegations that had surrounded his personal life. Rather than brushing it aside, Michael Jackson made it clear that he found the portrayal deeply offensive and disrespectful. For someone who rarely responded publicly to criticism, his reaction revealed just how personally he had taken the situation. Another unforgettable moment came during a live public appearance, where Michael Jackson spoke with unusual intensity about the music industry. Setting aside his normally calm and measured demeanor, he passionately criticized major music corporations, arguing that many legendary artists who had helped build the industry were not receiving the recognition or financial rewards they deserved. His expression, tone, and determination reflected genuine frustration, making it one of the rare occasions when audiences saw Michael Jackson openly challenge powerful figures instead of remaining silent. It was a powerful reminder that behind the soft-spoken public image stood an artist who was willing to speak out when he believed something was fundamentally unfair.
Years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely, and it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice. And like Mrs. Sharpton was saying, people from James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers that inspired me to be the entertainer that I am. These artists are always on tour because if they stopped touring, they would totally go broken. And it's been, the record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists.
Michael Jackson did not stop after making his initial remarks. Instead, he continued speaking with determination, making it clear that his concerns reached far beyond his own personal experiences. In his view, the issue was much bigger than a single artist or a single dispute. He believed many performers devoted their lives to creating music that shaped the industry, while the people controlling major companies often benefited the most from their success. As he continued, Michael Jackson emphasized that his message was about protecting the rights and legacy of artists as a whole. He argued that the creative talent behind the music deserved greater respect, fair treatment, and proper recognition for the value they brought to the entertainment world. It was one of the rare moments when he openly expressed his frustration with the business side of the industry, speaking not only for himself, but for countless musicians who, in his view, had faced similar struggles.
Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, And he's very, very, very...
Continuing his remarks, Michael Jackson spoke about the commercial success he believed he had helped generate for Sony over the course of his career. He argued that despite those achievements, the company had underestimated his influence and, after he gained greater independence over his business affairs, had failed to give one of his albums the support he felt it deserved. His comments reflected his belief that the relationship had changed once he was no longer dependent on the traditional system. Throughout the speech, Michael Jackson remained composed, but the frustration in his voice was unmistakable. He did not raise his voice or lash out emotionally. Instead, he calmly explained why he believed he had been treated unfairly, expressing his view that he had been overlooked after years of success, and that decisions made by the company had worked against his interests once he gained more control over his own career. Whether people agreed with his perspective or not, it was one of the rare occasions when Michael Jackson publicly spoke with such directness about his business disputes and the challenges he believed he faced within the music industry.
Sony, being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them. So we can't let them get away with what they're trying to do, because now I'm a free agent. I just owe Sony one more album. It's just a box set, really. It's with 2 new songs, which I've written ages.
As his speech continued, the emotion behind Michael Jackson's words became even more personal. He was no longer speaking only about business disagreements or industry practices. His comments reflected the perspective of an artist who believed his relationship with powerful figures had changed once he became more independent and took greater control over his own career. In his view, the conflict extended beyond contracts and sales figures. It was about creative freedom, ownership, and the ability to make decisions without outside influence. Although he remained calm and measured, the conviction in Michael Jackson's voice was impossible to ignore. He expressed his belief that his work had not received the support he felt it deserved after gaining greater independence, suggesting that becoming more difficult to influence had altered the way he was treated within the industry. Whether others agreed with his interpretation or not, the speech captured one of the rare moments when Michael Jackson openly shared his personal frustrations about the challenges he believed accompanied success, artistic control, and independence.
I'm telling you the truth, I write at least 120 songs every album I do. So I can do the box set and just give them any 2 songs. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's publishing, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it. But I just did good business, you know. So the way they get revenge is to try and destroy my album. But I've always said, you know, good art never dies.
In another revealing moment, Michael Jackson spoke candidly about the emotional toll of constantly hearing false stories and public speculation about his life. He explained that there were times when the frustration became so overwhelming that he would write down exactly what he wanted to say before responding. For him, putting his thoughts on paper was a way to remain clear, composed, and ensure that his side of the story was accurately expressed. This was not a performance or an attempt to entertain an audience. Instead, it was a rare glimpse into how Michael Jackson dealt with years of intense public scrutiny. Rather than reacting impulsively, he described choosing his words carefully in an effort to correct what he believed were misunderstandings and misrepresentations. The moment revealed the emotional weight of living under constant attention and showed a side of Michael Jackson that audiences did not often get to see, someone determined to defend his reputation while remaining thoughtful in how he responded.
Whoever humbled yourself like this child is the greatest among me. And he always surrounded himself with children. And that's how I was raised, to believe and to be like that and to imitate that. I don't know what you're trying to make out of it. I made a list of things. When I get angry enough, I write down what I want to say and what I want to talk about to set the record straight. Because you get to a point where you get tired of people lying. I get tired of situations like this, where people completely lie on me, and
That same frustration surfaced again during several interviews when the conversation repeatedly returned to rumors about Michael Jackson's appearance. Instead of focusing on his music, performances, or humanitarian work, interviewers often questioned him about stories involving his face and skin. After years of hearing the same speculation, Michael Jackson appeared visibly tired of having to answer identical questions over and over again. Remaining composed but noticeably frustrated, Michael Jackson rejected many of the rumors and explained that he believed sensational tabloid stories had distorted public perceptions of him for years. He expressed disappointment that so much attention was placed on speculation rather than facts, making it clear that he wanted to be judged for his work and accomplishments instead of persistent gossip. It was another rare moment where audiences could see the emotional strain that constant media scrutiny had placed on him throughout his career.
Do you think that people do go too far with plastic surgery, generally? Do you think it's become... So why are you so defensive when people say Mick Jagger's had one, Paul McCartney may have had one, oh, Michael Jackson's had one?
They don't do it that way.
What do they do?
They just pick on me like I'm the only one that does it. That's why.
So if people said, well, actually, Michael's the same as everyone else,
Yeah.
then it wouldn't upset you so much.
It would upset me so much.
You know, if you want to have a facelift, you have a facelift.
Yeah. If it makes you happy.
As the interview continued, Michael Jackson's frustration became even more noticeable. He never lost his composure or lashed out, but his responses grew firmer and more direct. After years of facing the same questions about his appearance, it was clear he had grown weary of repeatedly defending himself against rumors and speculation. When asked about the difficult period of adolescence and the acne he experienced as a teenager, Michael Jackson answered honestly, describing how painfully shy he had been and how deeply those years had affected his confidence. Rather than avoiding the subject, he acknowledged his struggles while explaining the emotional impact they had on him, offering a rare glimpse into the insecurities he had carried long before becoming a global superstar. His frustration was not limited to interviews. There were also moments when it surfaced during appearances with his own family. During one performance alongside his brothers, Michael Jackson attempted to address the audience, but repeated interruptions prevented him from finishing what he wanted to say. What began as a lighthearted concert moment gradually became more uncomfortable as his patience was tested in front of thousands of fans. Although he continued to control his emotions, his expression and tone made it clear that he was becoming increasingly irritated. It was another uncommon occasion where audiences could see the pressure beneath his normally calm exterior, revealing that even Michael Jackson had moments when constant interruptions and public scrutiny became difficult to ignore.
Listen. You know we can't leave here without doing the first hit song. Come on, man. You ain't never gonna say goodbye. No, never gonna say goodbye. No, we're talking about what you got. Do you want to hear what you got? We come to a compromise here. Okay. We don't want you back. I'm ready. But let's do it the way we did in 1970.
Not every moment of Michael Jackson's frustration was dramatic or outspoken. More often, it appeared in subtle ways, through brief replies, long pauses, and the expressions on his face when difficult questions were repeated. Rather than raising his voice, he often chose silence or carefully measured words, revealing a man who seemed exhausted by constantly having to explain himself under intense public scrutiny. In this particular interview, the conversation turned to questions about medication and legal matters. As the discussion continued, Michael Jackson appeared increasingly uncomfortable and defensive, responding with restraint while the pressure in the room became more noticeable. He never erupted in anger, but his body language, tone and shorter answers suggested he was growing tired of addressing deeply personal issues in a public setting. It was another example of how his frustration often revealed itself not through confrontation, but through the quiet strain of repeatedly facing the same difficult questions.
You gave a power of attorney to Dieter Weisner and Ronald Conitzer when you were under the influence of prescription medication?
Could have been, probably.
So that's probably?
Probably, yes, probably.
Were you impaired by the taking of prescription medications or something else at the time you signed these two documents?
Could have been.
Okay. Is that your best recollection, is that you signed these while impaired, not knowing what they meant?
Could maybe say so, but I don't remember them.
Weren't impaired by the taking of prescription medication at the time you signed this?
Could have been. I don't know.
How long during 2003 were you impaired because of the taking of prescription medication?
I don't know.
As the interview went on, Michael Jackson continued answering the questions, but his responses became increasingly hesitant and guarded. Rather than reacting with visible outrage, he appeared to be carefully choosing every word, aware that anything he said could be scrutinized or interpreted in different ways. It reflected a quieter form of frustration, the kind that can emerge when someone feels cornered by persistent questioning and exhausted from having to revisit the same deeply personal subjects time and time again. Taken together, these moments reveal that Michael Jackson's frustration did not always appear as dramatic confrontations or raised voices. More often, it surfaced through controlled expressions, measured answers, and the visible strain of living under constant public attention. Whether speaking about media coverage, industry disputes, or personal controversies, he often conveyed the feeling that his words and actions were being misunderstood or taken out of context. These rare glimpses behind his carefully maintained public image offered audiences a more human perspective on the pressures he faced throughout his career.
Words. During the period of time you were taking this medication where you weren't impaired, did you ever tell one of your advisors that you were concerned about your impairment and they better watch what you're signing during this period of time?
Not that I recall.
As of July 3rd, 2003, were you still at times impaired because of the consumption of prescription medication?
I'm not sure.
It's possible you were still impaired.
Could be.
As the interview went on, Michael Jackson continued answering the questions, but his responses became increasingly hesitant and guarded. Rather than reacting with visible outrage, he appeared to be carefully choosing every word, aware that anything he said could be scrutinized or interpreted in different ways. It reflected a quieter form of frustration, the kind that can emerge when someone feels cornered by persistent questioning and exhausted from having to revisit the same deeply personal subjects time and time again. Taken together, these moments reveal that Michael Jackson's frustration did not always appear as dramatic confrontations or raised voices. More often, it surfaced through controlled expressions, measured answers, and the visible strain of living under constant public attention. Whether speaking about media coverage, industry disputes, or personal controversies, he often conveyed the feeling that his words and actions were being misunderstood or taken out of context. These rare glimpses behind his carefully maintained public image offered audiences a more human perspective on the pressures he faced throughout his career. If you enjoyed this look at some of Michael Jackson's rarest and most emotional public moments, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. Which moment surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next story about the King of Pop.